Welcome to Bundesliga chat time from We Are Soccer. We've got Nate Janulis, our Bundesliga expert, with us as usual. Nate, how goes it, buddy? You doing all right?
It's going good, and I don't know if this gets me extra Bundesliga points, but when I went to tell my daughter to go to bed, because it was that time of the night to go to bed, she said, "Daddy, I'm working on homework." And I said, "What are you working on?" She goes, and she's writing, and I see a book there. She's like, "I'm practicing my German."
I don't know if that's going to work very well in her school in Michigan, but you never know. I mean,
Hey, actually, hand a Bible. She was fluent when we lived in Germany.
wow.
Straight up, she was fluent. The problem is she was 4.
No,
Lost
she's
it
going
when
to
she
grow
came
out of
back.
that. Yeah.
And the saddest thing she ever said was in a drive. And it was one of those moments where she went, "Dad, I forgot my German."
Oh.
Oh. Anyway, enough of the sadness.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a lot to chat about today. We're going to jump in, talk about the upcoming games in the Bundesliga. We'll chit-chat about Bayern Munich and how they're doing, and then we'll talk about maybe Stuttgart for a little bit as well, and we'll see where this goes. So why don't we chat about some of the upcoming games, Nate? As mentioned, Bayern Munich, they play this Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time against Hoffenheim.
Yep.
That's one of the games I've earmarked that I'm looking forward to watching because obviously Bayern have been on a tear lately. What are your thoughts on that game, man?
Well, if you want to watch goals, that's probably the game to watch. Munich is sitting first in goals per match with actually 3.6 goals per match. So they're almost scoring 4 goals every time they play the field. Now you go, all right, yeah, well, what's Hoffenheim doing? Hoffenheim's at 2.1. So Hoffenheim's actually fourth in goals scored per match, 2.1. So they're also, problem is Hoffenheim is ranked 7th in goals conceded. So
there's gonna be goals. There's guaranteed goals. So bet the over.
Bet the over. I would say definitely bet the over. It's and then you got Kramek, who's ranked first in big chances, who's actually I found out was living in Heidelberg, which is quite a nice town, has a castle.
There you go.
It's very nice. And actually, it's apparently the why he's staying in Hoffenheim, because Heidelberg is very close to Hoffenheim, and he likes it there because of the nice castle view. There you go.
So who doesn't want to live in view of a castle? Good for him.
Who doesn't? So, well, actually, if you're in Europe, you're just kind of like, yeah, there's another one. There. Over there. What's that? Oh, that over there? That's a castle. Actually, I did do that once. I was at work, and I was like, "Hey, what's that out in the distance?" And they're like, "Oh, that's a castle." And I'm like, "Oh, it is?" I'm like, "What one?" They're like, "I don't know. There's just one over there."
We've been here our whole lives. We have no idea, but yeah, another castle.
It's a castle. Whatever. Anywho, so that should be a very interesting match between Munich and Hoffenheim, because both are hot when it comes to goal scoring. And last week, Hoffenheim actually put in some work against Cologne, which Cologne was doing very well up until that match, and they pumped in 5 goals. So that was quite an interesting match for them. And then Munich responded against Leverkusen 1-5, and we can get a little bit more of that later. But both of the teams last week alone against their opponents had 10 goals. That's going to be a match where there's going to be a lot of goals. It should be entertaining. I think Hoffenheim will struggle against Munich's defense, but I do think they'll pop a few in. Sure. And who knows? Stranger things have happened, but that should be definitely an interesting match at 9:30 on Saturday. Yep. The other one to catch at 9:30 on Saturday is what I would consider the complete surprise of the season. At least I'm surprised by them, which is Freiburg versus Wolfsburg. Yep. And Freiburg sitting in 4th, unbeaten in the Bundesliga. They have not lost a game.
Let's clarify. Out of 8 games, they got 4 wins and 4 draws, no losses, with a +6 goal difference. But you're right, no losses. I mean, that's great, absolutely. And Wolfsburg sat atop of the Bundesliga the first 3 or 4 weeks. So
and now they're sitting 4-1-3. Freiburg's 4-4-4. Yep. Wolfsburg is 6th. Freiburg is 4th. And there's a lot of interesting things with Freiburg. I mean, I think to me, they're kind of the surprise of the season. I wasn't expecting them to do as well. They don't have a lot of big names there. They're just the team that plays together very well. They're ranked 8th in goals scored per match at 1.5. They're ranked 3rd away from home this season, which they are playing in Wolfsburg. And they haven't lost. They haven't lost in like the last 8 games they played. Where Wolfsburg has kind of been struggling. They haven't kept a clean sheet in 7 matches.
Yeah, they after that first 4 weeks, they've taken a little bit of a dip in form, man, and it's going to be. This is going to be a great game.
That's going to be one of those that is going to be highly entertaining, I think, and Absolutely. It's one of those that aren't on the radar. But I look at it, and I'd probably turn into that. If you're really bored, you can watch Dortmund versus Bielefeld, which will probably just be Haaland scoring about 4 goals that match with 3 assists from Marcus Royce and like 1 assist from Jude Bellingham.
I'm going to be putting money on Haaland to put 2+ in the back of the net, because you're right. Bielefeld obviously struggling this year. Right now, sitting 17th in the league, 0-5-3. 5 draws. That's crazy. 5 draws, 3 losses, not a single win. And I don't see them getting a win this week against Borussia Dortmund, who sit 2nd overall in the league. So,
and Dortmund is averaging about 3 goals, 2.8 goals per matches. So, you got a really good. And early Haaland's average every 60 minutes he scores a goal. So
he's missed some time. He's had an injury that he's been dealing with, and he was back this week in the Champions League. Dortmund did not fare very well in the Champions League this week, so they'll definitely be looking to put it together and put some balls in the back of the net and get 3 points in the league as they show up and play Bielefeld this weekend. One of the other games you talked about, let's jump ahead real quick. Cologne versus Leverkusen.
The rest of the Saturday games are pretty much a wash. If Jesse March can't beat Firth, you should be fired. And
agreed. Yep.
And I have a feeling Hertha and Gladbach are just be 2 teams that they're going to tie, and then go home happy with
they'll tie 1-1.
Yeah, and high five each other on the way out the tunnel. So.
That's great.
So fast forward to Sunday, sober up, watch Sunday.
Fast forward on to Sunday morning as 9:30 a.m. Eastern time comes around. Cologne against Bayern Leverkusen. Bayern Leverkusen lost last week to Bayern Munich 5-1, and they were down 5-0 at halftime. Probably just an absolutely terrible game for them.
But they fixed it though.
Well, they won 1-0 in the second half.
Yeah. So what I theorize what happened, because Leverkusen has been very hot. Leverkusen has been averaging 2.6 goals a match. They've been scoring about 3 goals a match as well. They're sitting 3rd as well. They've been setting people on fire. Yeah. They actually, when they win against Dortmund, they almost beat Dortmund. It took Haaland like a moment of brilliance, like at the 90th minute, to actually beat them. Newer coach to the league. I think he rolled in and went, we're not going to change anything. If it ain't broke, don't change it. And, I understand that, from that perspective. However, that's where I think Munich just opened them wide up, because they just basically countered their counter and just scored a bunch of goals. And
it could have been a lot worse than 5-0 at halftime. Bayern Munich missed some sitters and some half chances. It could have been 7 or 8-0 if Bayern had their shooting boots on.
One of the players said it best. He said it was on us. We didn't game plan this right. And I think that's right. I think they went in and said, all right, we're going to do what we've been doing against the other teams. It's been working in the Europa. It's been working in the league. We're setting teams on fire. We're going to shoot this one out. And then, we're just going to go, and we're going to, and part of me respects that. Like, if it's not broke, they'll fix it. Who cares? Go at them. Screw it. Just another team. But clearly, and I do think Munich is the best team pretty much in the world right now, or at least top 5.
Well, let's table that. Let's come back to that in a minute or two and finish up with this one, because I that's what I mean. A little deeper on that.
Yeah, that strategy is not going to work against a team like that, and that's where they caught him. I still think Leverkusen is an extremely good team, but what's interesting about this, and what most people might not know, is this is considered a derby match. So Leverkusen and Cologne are exactly like 15 kilometers apart. They're the two closest Bundesliga teams to play each other right now this year, separated by a little bit of the Rhine River in 30 minutes. So this is the River Rhine Derby, or one of them. And it should be interesting. Again, Leverkusen's ranked third, goals per match, scoring about 3. Cologne is they're scoring close to 2 goals per match, but they haven't kept a clean sheet. So, in the last 10, so they're letting in a lot of goals. They're ranked third at home this season, so they're not bad at home, which this game is a home game for them. I mean, technically 15 kilometers away, or whatever that is to miles, math escapes me, is a home game for everyone. Sure. So, I mean, it should be very interesting, and you got some very talented players in both and Anthony Modeste, who's been playing well and has an awesome song. Patrick Schick for Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz for Leverkusen. So there's definitely some names to watch. Yep. Plus, I'm in love with the Cologne coach. I think his energy is just awesome out there on the field. And, with his little derby hat he wears, Baumgras is just entertaining to watch on the sidelines, yelling at us and trying to motivate his team. So across the board, it should be really, really an interesting match between these two, and they play on Sunday.
Agreed. I think there's going to be goals galore in that one as well. Yep. Just like that Bayern game. So
yep.
I know the other game on Sunday you're looking forward to watching is your Stuttgart versus Union Berlin. And Stuttgart need to pick up points here and get up the table, as we've talked about in the last couple of weeks.
Why we tied?
They did tie. They picked up a point, but they need to start picking up 3 points, my friend.
So here's the problem with Stuttgart. Let me just shoot out some interesting things for you, some interesting facts and stats, if you will. On your team, who would you expect your leading goal scorer to be?
Well, you're hoping it's going to be your center forward.
Yeah.
You would hope so.
Maybe it's not your center forward. Who do you think else would it be?
Your attacking mid, maybe, or a winger, maybe.
Okay. What if I told you it was your center back?
Yeah, that's not going to do it. That's not going to be.
Mavropanos is the leading goal scorer for Stuttgart right now with 3 goals. You want to know who number 2 is?
Oh, don't tell me it's like your left back.
No, come on, don't be ridiculous. Your left center back. Oliver Crump tied with 3. So here's been the problem. With Stuttgart. They have had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of COVID cases. So there's a bunch. They've been ravished by, their squad has been ravished by quarantine and everything like that. So they're finding it tough to be consistent. And that's the biggest issue with them right now, not using excuses. It just is what it is. Their goalkeeper has been phenomenal. He's ranked 3rd in saves per matches. Okay. You looked at their tie, and they were peppered with goals. And the fact they only let in 1 is pretty good. So they have a very stout defense, but when they go forward, it's like, I don't know, like watching paint dry, because there just isn't anything there. Right. It's slow and painful. And a lot of that has to do with they're still missing key attacking players. So once they get those guys back, and I'm not sure if they're going to have many of them back yet, but hopefully they'll come healthy and bring them in and be all right.
Sure. What that tells me, that obviously the center backs are leading goal scorers, is they're doing a very good job of scoring from set pieces, i.e. free kicks or corner kicks, which is good.
Yes.
That's usually a problem for a lot of teams. They don't score a lot of goals from set pieces. But Stuttgart have that under control.
The Mavropanos goal against Gladbach actually was him deciding to dribble straight into the attacking third and then ripping a shot from 25 yards out.
I'd say 25, 30 yards out.
The best part of that is he's a loanee from Arsenal.
Typical Arsenal.
So Arsenal is loaned out, a Bundesliga center back that starts every game and is pretty much like the leading goal scorer
right now. Trust me, they could use him right now because Arsenal are not look good. Knock on wood. My Villa play them this weekend. Well, all right, give me a prediction then quickly on that game. Who do you expect? Do you expect Stuttgart to pick up all 3 points and beat Union Berlin, or you think it's going to be a draw, or is Berlin going to take it? What's your thoughts, man? Give me a prediction.
Well, it's 5th versus 12th. Stuttgart it's going to be at home for Stuttgart, I believe.
It is.
I think, I got to double check here. Injuries. Oh, geez. The injury report, like Stuttgart looks like a starting 11. I think it's going to be I'm going to go with a draw.
All right.
Because I can't say a loss.
All right. Well, when I put $5 on that and it loses, you owe me.
But yeah, you got your goalkeeper out for COVID-19 late October. Tommy, COVID-19. Massimo, COVID-19. Kalajic, shoulder injury. Mufba, out ligaments. Anton, COVID. Yeah, had a big old COVID party or something.
I had a super spreader party. That's unfortunate. But not in the middle of the season, by the way. Stuttgart.
No,
it's not going to work. All right, let's bring back up a topic you mentioned earlier. I'm interested to see where this is going to go. So you had mentioned a couple of minutes ago that Bayern Munich are probably the best team in the world right now. Obviously, they're cruising in the Bundesliga. We know that they're first. They've only lost one game. It's got the most goals. They're there. They're doing really well in the Champions League.
Yep.
You still think they are the best team in the world, even though they haven't really faced a Man City or your Man United, who I don't even want to put it close to the top of the world right now.
I mean, I think Benfica is better than Man United right now, if you ask me. But
I would say there's a lot of teams that are better than Man United right now. That's a whole separate subject we can go down. But Bayern Munich right now, I mean, you've got Chelsea, you've got Liverpool, and I'm just going to go with the English teams of Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Do you think Bayern Munich beats every single one of those to top them to be the best in the world right now?
Well, before I answer that, let me ask you, who has Man City beaten?
They drew against Liverpool. Right? They did beat Chelsea. But they haven't beaten anybody else.
No, who is Man City beaten in the Champions League? I don't care about regular league.
No, they haven't beaten anybody worthy of talking about it yet.
Liverpool, I guess you could give it to them for Athletic Madrid, right?
Yeah. That was an entertaining game. I would say Liverpool right now have the best striker in the world in Mo Salah. I think he's head and shoulders above everybody else at the moment in form.
Do you think he's head and shoulders above Landonowski, or do you think they're about equal?
I think if you give me one of those strikers right now, I take Mohamed Salah. Absolutely.
I'd take Landonowski.
And I can't argue against that, but the goal.
But are they about because you're two different players, two different leagues, about equal though?
Yeah,
about equal.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I got to be honest. I mean, like I said, if you told me I only get to choose one, I take Salah right now on form. The guy's just banging the ball in the net, and it's just a solid player.
Landonowski has scored almost every game he's played in.
I hear you. He has. Have you seen some of those goals that Salah scored in the last couple of weeks?
Have you seen some of the goals that Landonowski scored? So I'm going to say it again. Are they not about equal?
I have. I'll give you equal. I'll give you equal.
Okay. And then you got Juventus, who's undefeated, Chelsea, who's undefeated or who's lost a game. Mm-hmm. But again, who are those teams really played? What? Zenit? Malmo? So, I mean, we can bag on, my point is you can bag on who Munich's played in the Champions League, but the fact is they have done the job against Benfica, Barcelona, and Dynamo Kiev. And everyone has weak teams, except for Madrid, who has to play Sheriff FC, who we all know is going to go all the way.
He's going to win. I do have money on them to get out of the group stage, by the way. I've got money on them to advance. And I'm really hoping they did not play very well the other day, by the way. Sheriff.
No, I think they've been found out. Anyways, yep. So my point is you look at who they played, and I think Benfica is actually a very good team.
Yeah.
I think Barcelona isn't as good as they used to be, but still good. They're still good. All right. Are they better than Young Boys?
Probably.
Okay. Are they better than Zenit?
Probably.
Okay, that's my point. So,
Yeah.
yeah, time will tell. But then you just look at the roster. Just look at the roster for Munich, right? And when they played, take an example here. When they played Benfica, let's talk about guys who didn't play. Nagby is a starter on almost any of those teams that you named. Jamal Musiala, starter. Chapo Moteng, starter. These were the guys that were just sitting on the bench, hanging out.
Right.
You know, you got Sane, Miller, Coleman, Leninowski, Kimmich, Sabister. You got a defense that is pretty stacked and locked in. You have Jonathan Davies, who didn't even play that game because you had Pavard, Sole, Opacano, Hernandez.
They
You
have
got one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
Oh, obviously, yes. I mean, Manuel Neuer is by far at this point top
You
top
have
in the world right now, for sure.
You have Mueller, who at the age of 34, 32, Thomas Mueller at the age of 32 has refound his form and is on fire. You know, and if he doesn't, you bring in Jamal Musiala and stick him back there, and you're good to go. You have player on top of player on top of player. It's a stacked team, and I think they're very tough. And I'm going to say this. I think you have one of the better coaches in the world coaching them right now. And I'm also going to say this is I don't think you've seen the best out of them yet. Because he, and by his own admission, is saying that he's still trying to get these players to play how he wants them to play, and it won't happen until post-winter break. So I think you have a very dangerous team that's going to surprise people down the stretch in the Champions League.
Sure.
And I hate to say they're probably going to be league winners again. I mean, I'd love for nothing more for them to somehow lose the league and then win the Champions League and just me be right for that. And then me go, yeah, well, they're not the best players in the Bundesliga. There you go. But it's just the fact of the matter. It's a product of the team that you have. And I think they're overlooked because of their name.
I think I got to be honest. I would love to meet someone who thinks that they are not one of the best teams in the world. If you can't put Bayern Munich in the top 3-4,
well, I mean, if you look in your if you look in the chat room, everyone calls them the farm league, the farm team, and so. But if you take that squad, you stick them in the Premier League, and tell me they're not competing for the number one spot against City.
Oh, I think they compete. They're up there in the top 4 for sure.
I mean, if Ole's not your coach,
yeah. Don't worry, Ole's at the wheel. He's gonna steer Man United into I don't know where. I'm having a lot.
I'm a United fan. I've just lost faith. Yeah. But anyways, so I mean, you take that squad, you stick them in any other league, and I think they're competing for the number one spot. Period.
I agree.
Period. So, I agree. And that's my point of the matter. You know, you look at it, and I guess it will always matter who they match up against, but in the era of things that tend to slightly, I don't want to say rigged, but just work out. I could see the next round Liverpool going against Man City mysteriously, and you know, or at least in the round of 8, Liverpool going to Man City. You know how that always works out.
Yeah. I mean, those are great games. It's funny how those interleague games like that, and it's a Champions League game. It becomes a different setting and a different referee who doesn't coach the Premier League. It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
So, but I mean, on the outside of them, like drawing a really tough opponent, you know, in the round of 16, round of 8, I see him in the final. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me it'd be City versus Munich, which would be a hell of a game.
That would be. I mean, even Chelsea Munich or Liverpool Munich. I don't care who it is. It's going to be a great game, and I do think I don't want to make it seem like I'm putting up an argument, because I actually do believe at this current day, this current time, Bayern Munich is the best team in the world. Yep. And until someone takes them down, until a City, a Liverpool, or a Chelsea take them down. So
to be a Landonowski away for them moving forward in the last Champions League. Had he been playing those 2 games, I think they would be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
And they got better in defense.
They did. I agree. There's no argument.
And they added another midfielder who's very good, Sabitzer.
Right.
So they got better.
Yep. Yeah. And you can't argue with that. They got a lot better. They didn't just get a lot better. So
you added a stud center back and a very good center mid. Actually, a center mid who can play out wide, attacking, and even defense. Basically, utility player. Yep. So, yeah, is what it is.
No argument here, but I guarantee they're going to come up against someone good in the Champions League, and it's going to be a hell of a game to watch.
God, Sheriffs FC is going to take them out, aren't they?
Yeah, Sheriff. Oh my word, they just got to make it through to the next round. That's all Sheriff's got to do, and then I'm off that bandwagon.
I'm on that bandwagon until it dies, baby.
That's coming soon, by the way.
No, never.
Yeah.
I heard they're ultra corrupt, so I think they're just buying their way through it.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah. I don't know how much money's in the Moldovan league, but whatever. It's Sheriff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's Russian mafia.
All right, buddy. Well, that's going to wrap us up for another Bundesliga chat time. I think we've successfully taken this and talked about almost anything we can in the Bundesliga. And now you guys go ahead and watch those games this week. Jump into the We Are Soccer Facebook group. Let us know your thoughts on those games. Go ahead and let Nate know if it really is a farmers league. And let's put your thoughts in there. Appreciate it. All right, buddy. Thanks again. And we'll have to do it again next week as usual.
As usual.
Cheers, bud.
Roast.